You're listening to the Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast. Here, we'll help you unlock the secrets of entrepreneurship and self-development. This is your host, Alex Quin. I'm a full-stack marketing executive and global keynote speaker. Get ready to get real-world knowledge from top-level entrepreneurs and world-class business leaders.
Hey guys, Randy Zuckerberg here.
Hi everyone, it's Neil Patel, and you're listening to Hustle Inspires Hustle.
This is the motherfucking CEO, Andy Frisella. You're listening to Hustle Inspires Hustle with Alex Quin.
Become an authority and thought leader in your niche. Join a free private community of entrepreneurs and professionals looking to grow their business and optimize their performance. Get easy to learn resources and materials that empower your personal and financial success. Easily accessible for free on desktop and mobile app. Go to hustleinspireshustle.com/app to access now. That's hustleinspireshustle.com/app. Enjoy the rest of the episode. We recorded this episode before the COVID-19 self-quarantine. Stay safe, everyone. What's going on, guys? This is Alex Quin, and you're listening to the Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast. And today is going to be an interesting day because we have Charlie Rocket here. And it's just not any day, guys. You got to understand this. Today, CEO Charlie is coming out of retirement, and we're going to talk about some really exciting topics for you guys. So without further ado, what's going on, Charlie?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Brother, I've been looking forward to this one. I've been following you on social for a while now. Love your message. Love everything you have going on.
Come on, man. We're off to a good start. We're going to share a message today on this podcast that is going to shift the audience's concepts and mind when it comes to marketing and marketing innovation. That's not two words that people talk about very often, marketing innovation, because usually, bro, everybody's copying the same template of everybody else, and everybody looks the same, sounds the same, running the same Facebook ads, doing the same video. But I want to bring some marketing innovation to these young entrepreneurs to shift culture. These are concepts that are going to change the game, not just make money, but change the game.
Influence culture, change the game.
Let's go.
My brother, you have had a chance to work with some great people throughout your career. You know, we could get into a little bit of detail about that and then move forward with marketing innovation, just so people can have a little bit of background about you, people who haven't heard about you. Why don't you give us a little bit of background about where you started and where you are today?
Absolutely. All right, so check this out, guys. Like Alex said, he's bringing CEO Charlie out of retirement. CEO Charlie is who I used to be. Man, when I was young, it was always my dream to be an athlete. I buried that dream because I was always overweight. I was always chubby, and being an athlete wasn't realistic. So I said, you know what? I'm going to become CEO Charlie. I'm going to be a businessman. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. I was looking at the hip hop scene as a teenager, like, this is what's going to be massive. This is what's going to be big. And I got into hip hop, started with a website. Boom, spityourgame.com. Then I became Soulja Boy's cameraman. Then I got fired from that. Then I started signing artists. I got fired from that. And then I found this group called Travis Porter. Boom, they stuck with me. Then I found this artist named 2 Chainz. He stuck with me. We became, one of the biggest management companies in all of hip hop. Won Grammys, got sick. I was 300 pounds. That whole chubby thing spiraled out of control. Came 300 pounds, got diagnosed with a brain tumor, left everything. I was like, CEO Charlie is dead and gone. I've done all this business stuff. I've won Grammys. I've sold 43 million records. I've had $1 million clothing lines. I've had e-commerce campaigns that are legendary. I have the most viewed Shopify case study in the history of Shopify with how I sold $2 million worth of ugly Christmas sweaters in 30 days. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of the term dad hat. I invented the term dad hat, made it a cultural sensation. We basically changed. Earlier when we were talking just now, like when I say shift culture, it's like we can change the name of baseball cap. Like Macy's will change. Doesn't even call it a baseball cap. They call it a dad hat now. Like, that's the level of cultural influence and culture shifting that I'm going to talk about on this podcast. But I left that whole world, and I chased my original dream when I got sick to become a Nike athlete. And I implemented all my strategies of shifting culture because I wanted to become a Nike athlete. So I applied all this to that mission, which is crazy, which nobody thought it would be possible for me to become a Nike athlete, 28 years old, 300 pounds. But I made this fan-made Nike commercial, and I knew how to touch people's hearts, and I tell stories. And I was able to shift Nike, and I became a Nike athlete. And it was so big that Nike shifted their entire marketing strategy based around the campaign that I brought to them. And that ended up being the biggest marketing campaign in the history of Nike, which was the Colin Kaepernick commercial, the Dream Crazy commercial, which was named after me. Dream Crazy, that's my tagline. And and I was also able to be in it, and we won an Emmy. So taking all these marketing strategies from the music game to winning Grammys to the inspiration game to winning Emmys and having a Super Bowl ad, that was inspired by this campaign, to now I'm doing it in the motivational speaking industry and creating tours and events that are immersive. So guys, I'm excited for this conversation. I'm excited to be here with you, Alex. Let's dive into this, man. Let's rock and roll.
Brother, first of all, that Nike commercial was crazy. I'm going to link it in the show notes so everybody could take a look at it. It was really impactful. It just goes to show that you just watching it and just experiencing your mindset from the video and from your social media, it just goes to show that, all you really need in life is to want to do something, because a lot of the times people find themselves in difficult situations, right? You had a brain tumor, you had many setbacks, just like many other people may have setbacks, but you didn't choose to let it bring you down. I'm sure it was difficult. I'm sure you had your moments where, you wanted to throw in the towel, but the common denominator in everybody that I speak to that has reached success, and I'm not just talking about success money-wise, I'm talking about happiness, fulfillment, having the right people around them. It all stems from having the right mindset, looking at life the right way, which is everything that I'm experiencing right now is a lesson to bring me to the next stage in life, to prepare me for the next stage I'm trying to get to. And a lot of people see adversity and difficulties or speed bumps on the road as like they have bad luck or like maybe this isn't meant for them. And I've been there, right? I've been through all the mindsets. I think I've had to really reinvent myself many, many times to be in the business that I'm in today, which is marketing, to be able to understand culture, how culture shifts, how people react to things. You have to be able to keep an open mind. So watching your stuff it's very interesting because like you're saying, and we were talking about before the podcast was, everybody's doing the same thing over and over and over on social media, trying to get each other's attention, trying to see how they could bring attention towards them, to see how they can monetize or to see how they could get something out of it. But we've really lost touch with who we really are and what we really are about, values. People on social media are wilding right now. It's crazy out there. It's a jungle out there. It's great. It's beautiful. It allows us to be here, right? To connect, to be on this podcast, to converse with other people and teach them. But at the same time, it's something that you have to moderate. Nothing in excess is good for you, right? So social media is a great tool to be able to get out there. Look at you. You were able to become a Nike athlete, do all of these amazing things because of the power of media, communications, and the internet. However, you don't let it consume you in a way where you become somebody that you're not.
I'm gonna say this. So yes, social media is 100% powerful, right? But it's like the Nike thing. And I want everybody who's listening to this, I'm gonna plant a seed with you that nobody is talking about. Nobody is saying that there is another way. The reason why it appears as if social media is the credit for why people this day and age are getting success, the reason why it appears that way is because that's the seed they're watering. The grass grows where you water it. But before there was social media, there were very influential people in this world. Because human nature is human nature. Word spreads. Like, word doesn't just spread because there's social media now. Like, Martin Luther King did not have social media. Gandhi did not have social media. Like, freaking, Abraham Lincoln. We're talking about Jesus didn't have social media. So it is 100% possible for all of us. Could I have done the Nike thing without social media? In my mind, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is absolutely possible for people to have influence. I have a friend who is one of the most connected individuals in the history of the world. He is hired now by one of the biggest billionaires in the world to introduce him to people. Like, that's his job now. He is 27 years old and has no social media. He's one of the most connected people on earth, and he hasn't had social media in like 5 years. So it is possible for everybody listening, with your marketing, with your strategies. As much as an internet guy as I am becoming more and more not an internet guy, because I'm realizing that real significance is happening in the real world, and the internet should report it. So I'm building most of my culturally shifting marketing strategies in the real world where normal human nature exists. So I do want everybody to know that there is another way. Like, it's very popular right now, this micro content concept. And we see Gary Vaynerchuk, preaching, here's how to make 64 pieces of content in a day. And yes, that works. It really does. You put out that much content, you will become more popular. But that's the shallow end of the pool. Like, it's really not that deep. When you produce that much shit, you're getting attention, but what type of attention is it?
Yeah.
How deep is it? So I want everybody listening to know, like, I want you to actually be a little bit more significant. And yes, social media is amazing. Social media is great, but there's a whole real world out there that you could probably get more done in than if you were making micro content. Just imagine Martin Luther King doing micro content for TikTok. Would he have been more successful or less successful?
I hear that, brother.
I think he would have been less.
Yeah.
Because he's not with the people.
He's not with the people. He's not there. They're not feeling it all together.
Exactly.
For one cause, one message. I hear that.
Exactly.
I hear that. Hey, I just wanted to jump in real quick to tell you about how to train yourself in organization, balancing your priorities, developing successful habits, and most importantly, having a better mindset. I'm giving free access to resources and materials on business management and self-development. Go to hustleinspireshustle.com/app to get access. That's hustleinspireshustle.com/app. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter at Hustle Inspires Hustle. Okay, let's get back into the episode. This leads us into the topic of invisible influence, right? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about QUANTOPIA. Let's talk about your message with QUANTOPIA and how invisible influence is something that people should be aware of.
Okay, guys, this is going to be a crazy concept. And if you're listening to this, it probably won't make sense for a few years. But you know what? This is what I was put on this earth for. I was put on this earth to be able to see around the corner culturally of where things are going. I saw it with hip hop when I was a teenager, and I knew it was going to be the biggest genre in the world. But if you asked anybody, they would say impossible for that gangster rap, drug, sex genre to be the biggest in the world, because pop music, they could play that at the mall. Pop music is big. Pop music is this. You're talking about Taylor Swift's and you're talking about Justin Bieber's. Hip hop can never be bigger than that. Well, 2019, hip hop had almost 70% market share of top 10 records. You take all the other genres combined, add them up, they don't come up to the knee of hip hop.
Yeah.
If you combine them all, hip hop is massive. I was able to see that. I was able to see it with fashion trends, with music trends, with internet trends, with shoe trends. There's a website, biggest website in the world for sneakers. It's called kicksonfire.com.
Kicks on Fire, yeah.
Me and my business partner, we started that website. So we started spityourgame.com, the music website, Kicks on Fire and Fashion on Fire. And we had this like network of websites. And this is early in the shoe game. This is early. But we're kids, but we always could see what's next. So talking about invisible influence. In a world full of 3 billion Truman shows, where everybody is screaming, look at me, look at me. The next wave of marketing is going to be these communities, because these communities are going to have trust, but these communities are about to be built off the grid. Because, for example, I tested this. I created a secret society called QUANTOPIA. That's hidden behind, and Alex, you're a quantum citizen. I appreciate that. And it's built behind a secret phone number. And this secret phone number, I don't put on the internet. Now, y'all might see all these celebrities. They come out with these phone numbers and they say, text me. And in all honesty, I think that looks kind of lame. People are like text you like you're a celebrity. Why are you putting your number out there? I'm the only one in the game who's saying you can't even text me. There's a number.
Yeah. It's true.
And you got to get it from another quantum citizen. So people actually value the phone number. Like they're actually getting an experience to where when they text the number, they're taken to some secret website with some hot tub time machine parts, and you click buy now on a certain item, and then you got to put a password in. And the only way to get the password is to have the phone number, and then it takes you into this portal, and it's just this secret world. And now we're throwing these events that are secret events, with 3D projection mapping domes and, all this crazy stuff. So this is the next wave. You're going to start seeing it. This is my prediction. You're going to start seeing it with clothing lines. They're going to have secret societies to where there's not even websites. Like you'll see the next Supremes that pop up, and they don't even have a website. Like, it's going to be in the dark, and people are going to want that high energy exchange, because what exists right now on social media and the internet is everything is available
for everyone at all times immediately.
Exactly. So in order to get attention, people have to scream louder, do more pranks, do something crazier, show more butt pictures to get attention, right? And the audience is going to be so smart that they're like, okay, like, this isn't authentic. So
yeah, like, where do we draw the line, right? Like, where does this become outrageous, and when do we start getting back to our ways and to our roots of actually understanding something, physically being there, wanting to be with it, and not just because everybody's doing it, but because it really means something.
Exactly. So invisible influence is going to be a very powerful thing. An offline core, an experiential core, is going to be a very, very, very important thing in our marketing. I've tested it with QUANTOPIA. QUANTOPIA is probably going to be the biggest brand I've ever built in my life. Just because this concept, I see people are craving for their own world that is not social media. If you look at social media, it's gotten real shallow as far as even the communication. Like, the communication is shallow. So remember back in the day, emails used to be longer, and then they got shorter, and then like now emails are real short, and then text messages, like, we don't even use full words, and then you introduce social media and emojis, and then now we're not even using short words, we're using just an emoji, and then social media introduces just the sticker tap. So we're not even responding to people anymore with even words, short words or emojis. Now we're just double tapping, like heart, like it's not even a reply. So it has gotten really, really shallow. So somebody culturally is going to turn this thing around, and they're going to create the deep end of the pool, because people are craving a human connection. People are craving a community, and with social media being the number one source of information for people, it's like literally anti-community. There's literally like remember message boards back in the day? People would have like conversations.
Yeah.
Like now, like you got an Instagram post, somebody comments under it, the influencer replies with an emoji, 100 emoji. Like, what kind of conversation is that? Like, that's not a conversation. Or
I've caught myself doing that a lot lately. You're not wrong there. You're absolutely right. And not just myself, but most people I know is just a generic fire emoji or whatever emoji. You just have to answer to get through the comment fast. It's lost the true meaning of communication.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So I'm telling you guys, these concepts that I'm talking about, the offline concepts, the invisible influence concepts, there's going to be somebody in the very near future who becomes the first modern, and it'll be a young person. They'll be the first modern invisible influencer, where they're going to say to the world, like, yeah, like I've got millions of followers and they're not on social media. And this person's going to be shaking up the game.
It's going to be you, bro. It's you. It's already you.
That's my goal. This is definitely my last year ever using social media, because I want proof to I want to be the person who gives proof to the younger audience and the next generation of marketers and business people and influencers that it is possible to have massive influence without social media, even though we know it's possible because it's been done in history 1,000,000 times before social media existed. So it's probably even going to be more effective, because I've had meet and greets, or I've had events where 100 people are there, and it's more powerful than a picture with 10,000 likes.
All day.
All day long.
All day long.
The grass,
that feeling you get when you connect with
water
people. Yeah, and you travel doing motivational speaking. You travel everywhere. I've had the blessing of being able to do the same this last year. And this year we're going on tour in the United States and Europe. And there is nothing like being in front of a group of people, whether it's 10, 5, 100, or 500 people. But being able to knowledge transfer and skill transfer and teach people from our experience. There is no amount of comments or views on Instagram or podcast downloads that are going to equal to the feeling that I get, and I'm sure that you get, when we're in that situation where we've potentially changed people's lives forever by just giving them information that they needed, that we had.
That's right. Absolutely. And one of the best things we can do, since we're on this topic of like kind of the deep end of the pool, because I believe in marketing, it's important to have a shallow end and a deep end. Like the shallow end is easy for people to get in, but the deep end is what gives people that real connection. And it's my goal in marketing to take somebody from complete stranger and move that person closer to supporting me as much as my mom does. So in marketing, it's always my goal to create moms. Because like my mom, she supports everything I do unconditionally, unconditional love. And it's like Donald Trump has a bunch of moms. Like he tries to ruin everything, and his moms support him unconditionally every single time. Kanye West, same deal. Like Apple. Apple has so many moms. It's like they release a new phone where they just change the camera and we're like, we'll buy it. We
immediately
support them unconditionally. So marketing can be treated as, okay, let me market to create a sale, Or marketing can be treated to, let me market to make a mom. And once I have a mom, the sales will happen automatically. And moms are always very small groups of people. And this is how I always shifted culture. Now, earlier we were talking about social media before we got on the podcast. We were talking about social media. And personally, bro, like, it makes me so sick. I'm going to tell you a story. So 2 days ago, I'm having a conversation with my business partner. And we were talking about our Instagram stories on my page because we're thinking about marketing and all this stuff. And we're like, oh, yeah, we're at like 7,000 views on average per story. Let's get it up to 10,000. And then it hit me. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? I have 140,000 followers. Instagram is showing my stories to 7,000 of them. Where is the other 133 freaking thousand? Why am I feeding this bank account? It's like, imagine this, Alex. Imagine I had a bank account with $140,000 in it. And that bank tells me that I only have access to $7,000. I would like leave that bank. And then they tell me, no, you got to pay money to access the rest of your money. I would be like, this is the worst bank in the history of the world. Like, why would anybody bank here? It's literally fraudulent. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, why are we all banking at this bank? But then we're even listening to podcasts on how to bank at this bank more. Then we're reading books. How do we bank at this bank more? Like, we're literally reading books on how to support Instagram treating us bad more. They're literally treating us like shit. And this
like a
is
toxic relationship.
It's toxic. And nobody's talking about it. Like, this algorithm thing is like this invisible government. Like, it's like some like communist nation where they like punish you. And then we want to like please the algorithm more. Like, yes, Mr. Algorithm, I will do better, Mr. Algorithm. If I do better, you'll show me the more. So let me be more loyal to you. So I'm thinking about it like, I want out of here.
Right? Hell yeah. It's just insane.
Want out. And I don't want to build a life trap for myself. I don't want to make 64 pieces of content a day. I would rather do more significant things in real life that the internet reports and talks about through other platforms instead of building a jail cell for myself of having to make a vlog every single day for the rest of my life, because that's a jail cell. But
it really consumes you a lot, bro.
Absolutely.
It can. I know for me, I mean, the podcast, the interviews, the posting, the keeping the engagement up. And, you know, I own a digital marketing agency, so it's my job to be online, right? It's my job to be online and make money for clients, but it doesn't necessarily mean that me as a person, I have to do it. But, you know, given how things have played out, given the podcast, given how my career has grown in that specific way, it's kind of like pushed me into going into social media more and more. But what you're saying makes absolute sense. And I hadn't really looked at it that way ever since I started traveling and speaking. And it's that, you know, I am making a huge impact on social media. A lot of people are watching what I'm doing, but they're just watching, right? Like, how can we get these people that are watching and supporting to take some sort of action that could not only benefit them, but could benefit the community around them? And most of the time, the way to activate that is to show up. That's why we're going on tour this year. We want to show up. We want to go to each city where people are listening to us, talk to them. What are their concerns? How can we help? How can we all spread a message of positivity while obviously growing our careers, growing our businesses, but making a positive impact in the world? And hence our tagline, Hustle Inspires Hustle, hence the name of the company, hence the name of the podcast. 137 million people later, you know, as of the last 8 months, have seen and spread the message. It's for a reason. It's not just to have a hashtag online, because a lot of people, and you see this all the time, right? With climate change, with animal conservation, with ocean conservation, people create hashtags. People talk about a certain message, but they just talk about it. They drop a comment, but then they don't change their behavior. They don't change their habits.
That girl who went viral for the climate change,
Greta,
Wasn't she like standing outside somewhere every week? So what was she doing? What was that?
I
You
don't
know what I'm
recall.
talking about?
I don't
Like,
recall exactly.
I think she was standing outside in the real world, like in the actual like world, not the two-dimensional cell phone world. I think there was this office or this place. She would stand outside with a sign, and that's what ended up going so viral to get her on the stage to talk about it. But everything that is massively influential that shifts culture is usually done in the real world. But, you know, so many times when we're talking about marketing, we're talking about the physical world. But what I really want to talk about is this like mom concept, to where it's like, okay, how can we take our marketing and instead of being the shallow end of the pool, how can we create the deep end of the pool? Because like everything I've done in my life that has shifted things, it's been done with very small groups of people, like very, very small groups of people. And it's like, if I were to ask you to boil a lake, would you be able to boil a lake?
Hell no.
Like maybe Elon Musk can figure that out.
Yeah, right.
But it's like, for me, it's like, I can't figure out how to get that much fire up under the ground to boil it, you know? But it's like, I can go boil a pot of water. And it's like, if I was a young entrepreneur and I'm looking at Instagram followers, it's like 5,000 people is more impressive to me than 1,000,000. You know why? You know how I look at 5,000 people? So I had 5,000 moms that supported what I did unconditionally, like my mom does. And they supported the business $250 for a year. And if you think about $250, really not that much money. It's like a couple pairs of Nikes, you know? That's $1.25 million, like from 5,000 people. So it's like when we have our followings, it's like somebody gets to 5,000 followers on Instagram, they're thinking about, okay, how do I get to 10? When they're 10, they're like, how do I get to 50? When they get to 50, they're like, how do I get to 100,000? So what about pouring into the people that already follow you?
Yeah.
And convert those people into moms instead of being general audiences. How about you convert them to moms? So like in QUANTOPIA, for example, I have this thing where when people come in, we ask them what their dream is, and then we write their dream in our book and we send it to them. That's literally converting somebody over to a mom because we're caring about what they are doing. Then I have these QUANTOPIA coins, like these coins that are coming out, and we're going to give them to the quantum citizens. So it's like I'm pouring into the people that are already inside, and if I can convert those people to moms, I'm looking at it like this. Like, say QUANTOPIA by the end of this year has 1 million quantum citizens, right? But say there's 20,000, you know, a relatively small number of moms. It's like a book. Say I release a book in August, right, called Momology. And I put every single quantum citizen's name in the appendix. Now it's caring about them. Their name is in a book. So when that book comes out, we put it on Amazon and it gets 20,000 reviews and stars on the first day. Now let's pull up like Amazon real quick. Hold on. Amazon, start with Y. One of the best selling books in the history of marketing, right? Start with Y. Let's see how many reviews this has. All right. Start with Y has, here we are, 2,800 reviews. So imagine if I released a book to 20,000 moms because I cultivated the moms and instructed them, okay, let's go leave 5 stars and get a review and buy the book. Your name is in the book. Boom. Next thing you know, it doesn't have just, it's 10x one of the greatest selling books of all time on Amazon. So it's like, why not just focus on the moms? Why are we focused on these general Instagram following? Let's get to 1 million. Forget 1 million. 1 million means nothing. Do you know how many people with 1 million followers who are broke because they didn't cultivate. They didn't cultivate nurturing people. Zero. And the way to nurture, like if we think about it with our mothers, for example, our mothers love us because it was actually a real connection, like literally, like we came from our mothers, like we are connected to them. And how do we take our marketing and actually build connection? I'm sorry, 64 pieces of content a day is not going to build a connection. You got to get deep. You got to get real. You got to get honest. You got to get vulnerable. Like how can we take what we're producing today and move somebody closer to mom status? That's what momology is all about. Then how can you make them feel like an insider? How can you be exclusive? How can you create an invisible world, like of invisible influence that's so insider, that's so exclusive that they feel like it's theirs and not mine? That's the thing I'm noticing with this concept, that usually the influencer is on the top of the mountain and everybody's at the bottom looking up at the influencer. But what if you flip the paradigm and you create your marketing to where you're not the most important person, but the movement is important and the people take the responsibility to make the movement move so they feel like it's theirs? Now they become soldiers. They become moms. Like my mom would jump through a wall that's on fire to support what I'm doing.
Yeah,
how can we do that with our supporters?
Well, speaking from a marketing perspective, I ran into this problem the first few years of running my agency, which was pretty much I would, let's say, close 10 clients, right, at the time, and I was worried about getting 10 more, and I wouldn't give the first 10 clients I had their proper attention because I was too busy chasing 10 more clients, and then it's just a hamster wheel. And what I realized was I don't need 20 clients. I need 3 or 4 clients that I could give my full attention to and actually get the results that they need and that I need, obviously, as well. So I hear that because, for example, when I look at my social media, I have 18,000 followers on Instagram, right? And a lot of people I know have 100,000, 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, and you name it, the numbers are up there. I'm actually on the low end. But when you go and you look at the engagement and the people and how they're speaking and how much they're being helped, and you actually see that little impact I'm making with those amount of people, it doesn't really make me desire to have 1 million followers, right? Before I looked at it, oh man, I have 1 million followers, this and that. But then I started really getting into this game and realizing, and like you just said right now, a lot of these people that have all these followers or verified or whatever you want to call it on any social media platform, most of these people don't know how to monetize it, don't really have anything going on, and it's all a front that, right? So what does it really come down to? What it really comes down to is how real are you? What are you actually doing? And how are people being affected by it? This is why I loved QUANTOPIA when I saw it. When I first got that text message, when I first got that phone number from my homegirl, Laura, she sent it over, went on the website. I was blown away. I was like, Charlie's crazy as hell for doing this. This is super cool. And I just, like you said, I felt like I was part of something. I felt like it was personalized for me. I felt like it wasn't available to just everyone. I felt exclusive. I felt like it was something that I could fuck with. And that leads me to something else that I realized and noticed when following what you were doing, which was the notebook. You carry a notebook everywhere. Is that correct?
Yeah, man.
Talk to me about that.
Possibilities notebook.
Talk to me about that.
I'm big on manifestation, bro. Like I've been able to manifest some really crazy things, like the Nike thing, for example, or simple things like I'll write down in my notebook. I want to write a book, and I need somebody who's going to help me write it, and boom. The next day, my friend George calls me. He says, Charlie, I want to introduce you to somebody. I'm like, who are you introducing me to, George? And he just throws this random guy on the phone. And this guy says, my name is Jake Green. I'm a 3 times New York Times bestselling author. And I just saw your story and I just met George and I want to write a book with you. So we wrote a book together. Like, it's literally the craziest things happen. Something actually happened a couple of days ago. I wrote down, I said, I really see myself making $100,000 a month speaking around the world. And I wrote it down. And then that same day, I got an email from a Chinese billionaire saying he wants to book me to speak in Hong Kong for $130,000. The contract got signed the same day, and the wire was sent. And it was it's literally that crazy.
Congrats, bro.
Thank
amazing,
you, man.
Dude. I'm gonna be out there in Hong Kong speaking in like 2 months, so we'll probably link up out there.
It'll be in 2 months. It'll be in March.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out there in April. It's amazing that we get to travel the world and do this. And I want people listening to this to be able to do that, bro. You get me? To know that maybe they don't want to be a motivational speaker, but maybe they want to travel the world, go somewhere, expand their business, expand their knowledge, learn a new language. You know, there's more than the neighborhood you were born in. And it's not to look down upon where you come from, but a lot of people find themselves in some really screwed up situations around some people that aren't really influencing them well and leading them down the wrong path. And they feel like they're stuck there. Like, this is my reality and I might as well just accept it because this is what I was born into. And they fail to realize how massive the world is, bro. There's billions of people out there. There's billions and trillions of opportunities. All you have to do is step out of the mindset that you're currently in. If it's not the right one, step out of the situation you're in, cut whatever anchors are bringing you down, and allow yourself to rise up and to rise up with others, because growing with others is the best way. You don't want to grow alone. You want to grow with community. You want to grow with your village. You want to grow with your people. You want to create moms, like you're saying. You want to create this environment. So maybe when you're at a low point, these people bring you up. They remind you of who you are, what you're meant to do, why you're here, and it allows everybody to grow and prosper together.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. You get it, bro.
It's facts, bro. It's facts. Charlie, listen, bro. Where can people find you? I know you're not going to be on social media for a while longer, but wow, people could find you on social media and find out about what you're doing and connect deeper. I know you got Charlie on Instagram. It's just Charlie, so it can be difficult for people to find you. Where else are you right now?
I'll be honest, bro. Like, I don't even feel right giving out my Instagram account. I can't even Instagram has so many possibilities for networking. But it's the shallow end of the pool. And in all honesty, if you like my content, you're probably not going to be seeing it. Like, in all honesty, like I made a post the other day with David Goggins, Andy Frisella. I spoke on the same stage as Peyton Manning and David Goggins and Andy Frisella and Ed Milet, right? I made the post. I have 140,000 followers. I pulled up the insights on it. Posted great, like 6,000 likes, right? Posted amazing. But Instagram only showed it to 40,000 of my 140,000 followers. And this is 140,000 people who want to see my content. Like, I don't have fake followers. I didn't do any contest. I didn't do any giveaway. I didn't do any of that lame marketing stuff. Everybody who follows me wants my content, but Instagram will not show it to them. So
will not show it to them.
I'm like, I don't even want to give out my Instagram. And
you're torn.
So it's like, we're in the deep end of this podcast. So it's like, I've never, ever put out the phone number for QUANTOPIA on my Instagram. And I'll give it to you guys, but please just do not ever post it publicly. Please. Like, you could give the phone number to your friends privately. And you could share it in DMs and stuff, but I'll give you the phone number to QUANTOPIA. That's the best way to get to me. All my podcast content is in there, all my lessons. We're building events, all sorts of crazy stuff. So the number is 404.
Go for it, brother.
404-800-1073. That's 404-800-1073. And I just ask all of y'all, just don't post it publicly.
Yeah, come on, guys. And guys, if you're listening to this right now and you got something from this conversation, I really encourage you guys to take the next steps and becoming a quantum citizen. And it's not just because Charlie's on the podcast, and it's not just because I think what he does is cool. It's because he's actually doing something that's helping people out. And I think the approach is really great. I think it's worth giving it a shot. Find out about the community, find out about what's going on, find out about how you and your influence and with what you do, how you could bring something positive to what's going on, not just from podcasting, but to events, to all of these types of things going on that you're going to be able to be part of. This is why we're here. This is why the Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast brings you people like Charlie in order for you to reach that next level, to be on top of the game and to be at the forefront of marketing, business, and self-development.
That's right.
Charlie, brother, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast, brother. I appreciate you so much. And shout out to Carson Jones for making that connection. We had been wanting to have you on the podcast for a while, so very grateful that 2020 was a year for us to do that. Charlie, I wish you a prosperous new year, and let's stay connected, brother.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast. I'd appreciate it if you could share, leave a review, and subscribe to the show. Visit hustleinspireshustle.com/app for more free resources, event invitations, and online courses to empower your personal and financial success. Learn about marketing, finances, business development, branding, strategic partnerships, and much more. If you're looking to further connect, check me out on Instagram or LinkedIn at Alex Quin. That's ALEXQUIN. See you on the next episode.